Now what I'm going to show you is a new teaching. Now this is something that I went to the altar and to the heart of God today to confirm what I always had the inner sense of and the inner knowing of, but simply did not focus on in order to give it to you and to lecture to you on it. So this teaching, which is new tonight, is how to chart the monthly initiations in a secret ray band cycle. We just did the whole clock in the outer ray cycle of the Piscean cross. Now we're going to see how they're charted in the Aquarian cross of the woman and her seed. This means that we have not correctly placed the 14 stations on the correct lines of the clock in the secret ray bands, and so we will begin to do so as of today. The woman and her seed on the Aquarian cross, walking the stations to internalize the mother flame and the flame of the Buddha. The charting of these stations of the cross does not begin on the 12 o'clock line, and it does not begin on the 12:30 line. It begins right here on the 6 o'clock line, on the line of the mother. So now we look at the same stations. First station is on the 6:30 line. The second station is on the 7:30 line. First station on the 6:30, second on the 7:30. And the way we speak of them, on the 6:30 line we would say, the woman and her seed are condemned to death. Not in the Capricorn line, not in the Cancer hour, but on the half hour. The half hour of the Cancer line is where the woman stands, and that is where she is condemned to death. So her initiation, her first initiation, she is condemned to death by the personal and planetary karma of the misuse of the sacred fire in the mother chakra. It's the same initiation, but under a new hierarchy. It's a new alchemy. It's a new chemical combination of the causal body of the hierarchy of Cancer in its half-hour sign. The first station we walked the first time was under the hierarchy of Capricorn in the on-the-hour sign. So the first set of stations under those 7 14-month cycles were under the alpha thrust. The Piscean cross is on the alpha thrust because it's on the hour, always on time on the hour. This is charted on the 6:30 line. It's on the omega return. And the omega return is the most difficult part of the clock. It's the astral body, the desire body, and the physical. And that's where we make a great deal of karma. So it is like the clock upside down. It starts here, it goes 1, 2, 3, all the way around on the half lines. And this time you draw the entire clock on the half lines. You draw this as 1:30, you draw this as 2:30, because this is a clock within a clock. This whole clock is within these 5 secret ray bands and the 2 unknown rays, the 13 and 14. So it works out to 7 under the mother and 7 under Jesus. 3:30, 4:30, etc. And then they're in polarity. 2:30, 8:30. So when you start the line of the clock, you're on the 6:30, the half-hour line of 6 o'clock, and you're on the half-hour line in your poling, in your polarity with the Capricorn line. This is the dominant. This is what you're dealing with in the dominant or the major, and this is the minor. So the key thing here is indecision, self-pity, self-justification, and chaos and confusion. That's the major test of woman being condemned to death. And the chakra is the key. The chakra is always the key, so you have to know your chakras on the clock. 3-9 axis is the heart chakra. 10-4 axis is the all-seeing eye. 11-5 is the throat chakra. As we said, the base is on the 6, crown on the 12, seat of the soul on the 1-7, solar plexus on the 2-8. Same chakras are on the half-hour lines. So as you would make your chart of this, you would be seeing the woman and her seed are made to bear their cross on the half-hour line of Leo, 7:30. The woman and her seed fall the first time, the half-hour line of Virgo. The woman and her seed meet their afflicted mother on the half-hour line of 9. Just the opposite. Everyone is the opposite of the way we walked with Jesus on the Piscean cross. 5th station, Simon the Cyrene helps the woman and her seed bear their cross on the 10:30 line. 6th station, Veronica wipes the face of the woman and her seed on the 11:30 line. That's Sagittarius, God victory, and so forth. So you study each of the lines and you recognize that the initiation on the half hour is the polar opposite of the initiation on the hour. And I don't mean polar in the sense of poling across the chart, but I mean in the sense that it's halfway around the clock. So it's a very different feeling. It's like the alpha thrust is the plus, the omega return is the minus, the active, the passive. That which is passive is often extremely subtle, and of course we know the secret rays are subtle. So we are actually in the secret ray phase of every line of the clock now, because the half-hour line is that secret ray phase. I don't think I need to continue. I think you understand the principle of this clock. So when you come to having completed all of the 12, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then on the 6:30 line you would be on your 13th. So since you started here and ended here, that Jesus is taken down from the cross begins here, and the figure 8 goes up to the 12, where now you have the 14th. Remember, our 7 and our 14 used to be on the 6:30 line. Now they're up here. Everything is just like its mirror opposite. Coming down, back around again, you're ready for the next 14-month cycle under the Aquarian cross and the secret rays. If you're scratching your head, that makes me think you don't quite understand. Is it pretty clear? Good. If you want to read about the woman and her seed, you should read Revelation 12, where the woman gives birth to the man-child. There's war in heaven. Archangel Michael defeats the dragon. The dragon and his angels, or Lucifer and his angels, are cast out of heaven into the earth. Woe comes upon the people of the earth because these fallen angels are cast down into physical embodiment, and therefore the warning is given that the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So the seed of Sanat Kumara are disciples. They keep the commandments of God, that is, the law of God is within them, and they live that law. They have the testimony of Jesus Christ because they have contact with their Holy Christ self. And through their Holy Christ self, Jesus maintains that tie to them. This is the definition of the Chelas of Sanat Kumara. Those who have the testimony of Jesus Christ are those who have the testimony of the Ascended Masters in their dictations. Long ago, Jesus told me that that is what that verse means. We have his direct testimony in this age as he testifies to the truth before us. And all light bearers of the world have it. They may not have it in the outer, but they receive it on the inner if they are true light bearers. So our challenge on the Aquarian cross becomes the path of the incarnating of the Divine Mother as a balance to the Trinity that we are working with through Jesus, bringing forth her children, bringing forth the seed of light of the universal Christ consciousness represented in the Divine Man-Child. Now, if we were going to be charting the stations of the cross in the cycle we're in, which is the 4th Secret Ray Band, it was begun September 4th through October 3, so September 4th would be on the 6 o'clock line, the first month. This is going by months now. So October 4th, I should have said 6:30 line. September 4th is on the 6:30 line. October 4th is on the 7:30 line. The third month, it's on the 8:30 line, and so forth. Fourth month, 9:30 line. That's December 4th. And you can easily advance your clock, the 4th of the month, for 14 months, and see where you will be on that Secret Ray initiation. Starting at the 6 o'clock line, going around. I think that's very clear, and all you have to do is complete your chart. It goes from, for instance, the 6th month on the 11:30 line, it goes from the 4th of February to the 3rd of March, and then the 12:30 line starts the March 4th. So by the 14th month, it's October 4th, 1991 through November 3rd, 1991. And that's on the 12:30 line, just where we have it charted. And we would call it the 12:30, 6:30 axis. You always put the number first that you are standing on. That tells you that's the dominant number. When standing on the 12:30, you are working on the 12:30, 6:30 lines, the half hour of Capricorn, the half hour of Cancer. But in the 14th station. You already did it in the 7th station, but this is a new initiation. So you see, in every 14-month cycle, we are initiated twice on the 12 and the 6 axis. One for the 1st and the 7th stations, and one for the 13th and the 14th. This is very important. That line represents our spine, from our crown chakra to the base of the spine chakra. So that is where we reinforce the Father, Mother, God without and within, because the outer rays are 1 and 7, the inner rays are 13 and 14. So that's where we internalize the Tai Chi and the figure 8 flow from in the spirit matter cosmos. In his July 4th, 1989 dictation, Serapis Bey emphasized the importance of working with the 5 Dhyani Buddhas during the 14-month cycle. The 5 Dhyani Buddhas correspond to the 5 secret rays which are placed on the cosmic clock on the axes of the half hours from 7:30 through 11:30. Why are they on the half hours? Because they are not in the same dimension as the 7 rays. So I'm going to show you on the inner circle the 7 rays. When you are charting the 7 rays and the 5 secret rays on the cosmic clock, you would put the first ray on the 12, the second, the third ray, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. So going through the 7 rays of God, you have come through the first half of the clock. Now your 5 secret rays begin. Ray number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. But they will not be on the line of the hour. They will be on the line of the half hour. The transition from the 7th ray, that's the outer ray, to the first inner ray is through the heart of none other than our beloved Padmasambhava. Now Padmasambhava does not sit on the 6 o'clock line. He sits on the 6:30 line. And this is what we want to know because we are in the 5 secret rays. So here's Padmasambhava. He's the point of transition between the violet flame of Saint Germain, the seventh ray that we have here, and the first of the secret rays that is on the 730 line. So our lines are now 630, 730, 830, 930, 1030, 1130, and 1230. And when we chart the polarity of these rays, we get them on the half hours also. So the first Dhyani Buddha, who happens to be Vairochana, is in polarity on the 1:30 line. So what's the 1:30 line of 1 o'clock? The 1:30 line of 1 o'clock is the omega half of the hour, the second half of the hour. So in the second half of Aquarius, the feminine side of Aquarius, there is that polarity of Vairochana. And so it goes all the way around. I wish to give glory to beloved Mother Mary for this wonderful teaching so that we can understand this charting and how it really works. So what you could say in principle is that the first half hour of every hour you are being tested in the 7 rays, one of the 7 rays or all of them. I say all of them because they all come out of the white light. If you look at your clock and it says 5:30, 6:30 and so forth, you are now into the omega phase of your hour. And usually I think we notice that the thrust of energy comes with the hour, the new hour, and at the half hour there's a change of energy, and it goes from alpha to omega. And if you are sensitive and notice it, you will see it. In another sense of the word, you know that the Father is on the 12 o'clock line, the Son on the 3, the Holy Spirit on the 9, and the Mother on the 6. So that tells you that each of the hours has 4 quadrants, and each of the hours can be felt as moving through those energies. So the first 15 minutes is the Father, the second 15 minutes from 3 to 6 on the clock is the Son, then the Mother, then the Holy Spirit. Now if you really want to calculate the hours, you see that the 12 signs of the zodiac are also governing each 60 minutes of our lives. And as we tick through them, we are going through that clock. So that's a cycle of the hours, and it's a cycle of the day. So I've shown you how the 5 Dhyani Buddhas come on the cosmic clock, and I'll write in their names so that you can write this also on your charts. We have Padmasambhava, the great transition. I cannot even tell you the implications of him being on the 6:30 line. When we put the 4 hierarchs of the ruby ray cross on the lines of the clock, we have Sanat Kumara on the 6 o'clock line, we have Jesus on the 3, Gautama Buddha on the 9, and Maitreya on the 12. So that tells us that Padmasambhava is not only making the transition from the violet flame to the first of the secret rays, but he is also in direct line of the lineage of the hierarchy of Sanat Kumara through the 4 ruby ray masters. This is the line of the Divine Mother, and so he sponsors us in the Mother Flame, and he is the sponsor of the mantle of the Guru with us. So Vairochana, the first Dhyani Buddha. Now when I make my calls, as you hear me make them before the altar, I am visualizing these beings on the lines of the clock. I always see them before me. It's like a movie screen. And there's Vairochana. He's sitting on the 7 o'clock line in God Dominion of the hierarchy of Leo and the hierarchy of Aquarius. And he will access for me the secret ray at the 7:30 line of those hierarchies. So on the 8:39 we have Akshobhya. And in case you may have forgotten, it's spelled Akshobhya. Right on the 9 o'clock line, the Aries Libra line, there's Ratnasambhava. Bhava on the end, Ratnasambhava. Now he's not really on the 3-9 axis because he's on the 330, 930 axis. He's on the omega ray of that line. Here is Amitabha, ABHA, and there's Amoga Siddhi on the 1130 line. AMOGH, ASIDD, HI, Amoga Siddhi. So there they are. They are not on the 12-6 axis, they are in between. What happens on the 1230 line? The 1230 line is the consummation of all 5. As Padmasambhava is the open door from the outer to the inner, so the 1230 line is the 5 causal bodies of all of them manifest as one. And that one is the great Vajra Sattva, the diamond one. So when you call to the Vajra Sattva, you are getting the concentration of 5 secret rays and the attainment of 5 masters. 1 for each month. So as you go through the 130 line, as you are on that month, which would be the 2nd month, you are with Vairochana. It would be called the 130, 730 line. When you come around to the bottom, to the 6 o'clock line, the mother line, you have the great synthesis of manifestation in none other than the Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin. And so she is also the great violet ray Buddha and Master. So that's the Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin on the 630 line. So during the entire 14-month cycle, in the first secret ray band of the causal body, February 28th to April 25th, we were working on the initiations of the 730 line under Vairochana. There is one line of the clock that covers each 14-month dispensation and one sphere of the causal body. So even though we walk through all of the 14 manifestations that I have just shown you, they are all under the overall canopy of one Dhyani Buddha. So that was our first 14-month cycle, and it was the first secret ray band, and we walked it. Whether we knew it or not, we're conscious of it or not, from February 28th, 1987 to April 25th, 1988. So that 730 line has something to do with Leo and something to do with God gratitude, but it's under the secret ray. It's definitely in the soul chakra, but it's the omega facet of it. It's the inner as opposed to the outer. 14-month cycle in the second secret ray band, April 25th, 88 to July 4th, 89, we charted on the 830 line under Akshobhya. The 14-month cycle of the third secret ray under Ratnasambhava, July 4th, 89 to September 3rd, 1990, was charted on the 930 line. We just completed that this September 3rd. The current 14-month cycle is the 4th secret ray band, which began September 4th and is charted on the 1030 line under Amitabha. So Amitabha is our Buddha till we come to the end of this 14 months. The meaning of his name is infinite or immeasurable light or splendor. Every time you say his name or his mantra, Om Amitabha Hri, you are accessing infinite or immeasurable light or splendor of his causal body and your own and of the great central sun magnet of the 4th secret ray band of your causal body. Each of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas manifests a particular wisdom. The wisdom of Amitabha is discriminating wisdom. Each of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas is hierarch over a particular poison or perversion. And these poisons, these 5 poisons, we must all overcome if we are going to ascend. So the poison that Amitabha helps us with through this entire 14-month cycle are the poisons of the passions, all cravings, covetousness, greed, and lust. This is the open door when we can overcome any addiction that we have had. The line of the clock is the 10:30 line. It's the great open door opportunity in this band of the secret ray to overcome selfishness and self-love, self-centered living, and to get into the 4 points of the clock, 1, 7, 4, 10, or 1:30, 7:30, 4:30, 10:30, which is the path of the Ruby Ray Masters. His mudra is the meditative gesture, one hand resting over the other in the lap, palms upward. Sometimes the index fingers of both hands touch the thumbs. His bija mantra is Hri, and it is a powerful directing of energy that you can feel sending forth with God purity from the solar plexus. Don't ever give that syllable without your being in full God harmony. It releases the sacred fire in an extraordinary way. Let us do it together. Hri, 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 Hri. Now you have to take a breath of air through the nose and put it out through the mouth to get the fire of it. Breathe in. Hri, 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 Hri. Good. And then it's Om Amitabha Hri. Om Amitabha Hri. Om Amitabha Hri. In Tibetan Buddhism, we are taught that these 5 poisons are of ultimate danger to the soul's spiritual progress, and that the wisdoms of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas counteract or provide the antidote for each poison. As we take our initiations under the Dhyani Buddhas on the half-hour lines of the clock, we work on overcoming the poisons by invoking and embodying the corresponding wisdoms of each Dhyani Buddha. Each Dhyani Buddha also has a seed syllable and a mudra. A seed syllable represents the essence of a cosmic being, a principle or a chakra. The mudras are symbolic hand or body gestures. They can be used while giving the mantras. I would like to give you these for the other 5, since they do come up in the months. So starting at the beginning, we take Vairochana on the 7:30 line. The meaning of his name is in shapes making visible. Vairochana is the manifester of phenomena. He manifests phenomena. In other words, his role is precipitation. The precipitation of anything, and he does it through the omega line of Leo. Leo in worldly astrology is the heart, and it is a fire sign. He works with fire. It is the fire of absolute love manifest as God gratitude. So Vairochana is your key to supply of the Dhyani Buddhas. His wisdom is the all-pervading wisdom of the Dharma Dhatu. The Dharma Dhatu is the Dharmakaya, which you'll remember is your I Am Presence and causal body. The poison that is the perversion of this all-pervading wisdom is ignorance. His line of the clock is 7:30, directly between the 7 and the 8 o'clock lines. So when you see that they are at midpoint between those lines, it's on the 7 o'clock line, they would be taking the omega of the 7 o'clock line, which is the 7:30. On the other side of the line is the 8. So in other words, there is Leo and there is Virgo to be dealt with. So the omega is the 7 and the alpha is the 8. The alpha of God Justice and of Virgo is God Justice, solar plexus, etc. And therefore, the perversion being injustice, frustration, and anxiety. So each of the Dhyani Buddhas gives you an authority over half of the preceding line, the 7 o'clock and the 8 o'clock. So it's a combination of two hierarchies, the alpha of one, the omega of the other. The mudra is teaching or setting in motion, the wheel of the Dharma or the law. His bija is Om, Om Vairoshana Om. Om. That's the bija. That's how you call him. That's how he manifests, through the Om. The sound of the Om precipitates his presence. His mantra completes it. Om Vairoshana Om. Om Vairoshana Om. Vairoshana's mudra is the teaching or the setting in motion of the wheel of the law. Vairoshana then generates, begins cycles, sets in motion. So this is the two wheels of the law that he gives us. The thumb and the index finger, and the other fingers out in opposite directions. One going up and one going to the side. Akshobhya. (8:30). It puts in between the 8 and the 9. The omega of the 8 o'clock line of Virgo, the alpha of the 9 o'clock line of Libra. The literal name of Akshobhya means imperturbable, cannot be disturbed, cannot be moved, will not depart from his absolute God harmony and his absolute stillness. His wisdom is mirror-like wisdom. The poison that is antidoted by the mirror-like wisdom is anger and hate creation. It's the earth-touching mudra, the sign of unshakable, steadfast nature. Remember, it combines Virgo and Libra. The earth-touching mudra is the left hand cupped and the right hand touching the earth. When Gautama Buddha touched the earth and challenged Mara's temptation and war he was waging against Gautama. The bija is hum, hum, hum. It also can be sounded hum, hum. Then the mantra is Om Akshobhya Hum. Om Akshobhya Hum. 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 Ratnasambhava, 9:30 line. The literal meaning of his name is origin of the jewels. Origin of the jewels, or jewel possessing one. And this refers to the three jewels of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The wisdom brought by Ratnasambhava is the wisdom of equality. The poison which the wisdom of equality antidotes is spiritual, intellectual, and human pride. Pride or egotism. The line of the clock, 9:30, it's the omega of the 9 and the alpha of the 10. It's the synthesis of mastery of Libra and Scorpio and the point of transition between the two. The mudra is a giving or charity mudra. Right hand palm turned outward and directed downward in gesture of giving. Left hand is cupped, the index finger with the thumb, and it is pointed outward and downward in the sense of giving. Just forming the mudra, you can feel the energy flow through the right arm from the heart in that givingness. The bija is trum, trum. And the mantra is Om Ratna Sambhava Trum. Om Ratna Sambhava Trum. Om Ratna Sambhava Trum. 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 We have done Amitabha on the 10:30, so we go to Amoga Siddhi on the 11:30 line. The literal meaning of the name Amoga Siddhi is Almighty Conqueror. This is the great quality of God victory on that 11 o'clock line. Amoga Siddhi's wisdom is all-accomplishing wisdom, or the wisdom of perfected action. Contemplate the meaning of this, the wisdom, the wise dominion of perfected action. This is the height of attainment, mastery in the physical octave by the fire of Sagittarius. The poison which this wisdom antidotes is envy or jealousy. 11:30 line, it's the omega of Sagittarius and the alpha of Capricorn. The fullness of God victory and God power. The mudra is fearlessness, giving protection. Again, the left hand is in the lap, always cupped. You can't have the thumb touching the index finger. It's like the idling pond of energy that you keep. It is the backward pull of the slingshot. That is your resource. And so the right hand does the action part of the mudra. And this mudra is extending the hand upward and forwards in fearlessness. This fearlessness mudra can be given with simply the whole hand outward, or it can have the index finger touching the thumb in this manner. Both will give you that action. And the thumb and the index finger in the lap give you the circle which contains the energy. The bija of Amoga Siddhi is A. Om Amoga Siddhi Om Amoga Siddhi Om Amoga Siddhi In his July 4th, 1989 dictation, Serapis Bey said, "You will understand that the initiation of this cycle on this day of the Declaration of Independence of your founding fathers, beloved, does signify to what purpose this secret ray is come. It is your declaration in separating out from the not-self, the dweller on the threshold, the fallen ones. It is your declaration of integration with a great God. Maitreya has given to the teaching and the Mother has presented the path. With these two, you should enter this cycle with a certain flame of God mastery and develop it day by day. Let the cycle be announced each day at the beginning of each decree session, that all might remember what is the station of the cross, who is the Dhyani Buddha, what is the path, what is the poison to be overcome, what is the antidote, and that is what will consume it. Thus I adjure you to pursue all 5 points scientifically, for these 5 points represented in the hands all come together in the womb of creation for the recreation of the self after the image and likeness of the Buddha. I am truly grateful that you have not forgot to keep the flame of the path of the ascension for all upon earth. Now I challenge you, keep the flame of the ascension by the 5 wisdoms and by the banishment of the 5 poisons. Thus may your example of the ascension be an example of a path of enlightenment. We must fulfill Serapis Bey's admonishment to pursue the 5 points of the secret rays scientifically throughout the 14-month cycle. Therefore, in addition to invoking the Dhyani Buddha, who sponsors the entire 14-month cycle, we also clock our initiations each month under a different Dhyani Buddha. We keep track of our initiations on the secret rays, starting at the 6:30 line and going around the clock. The reason we start on the 6:30 line is that prior to taking the initiation of the first Dhyani Buddha on the 7:30 line, we must first pass through the 6:30 line as the transition point through the heart of the mother, remember, from the 7 outer rays into the 5 secret rays. That is why Kuan Yin is also on this line. So we chart the lords of the 7 rays consecutively from the 12 to the 6 o'clock lines, and then we pick up the secret rays. Padmasambhava initiates the chelas of the Divine Mother on the 6:30 line, or the 6:30-12:30 axis. Here is a review of the secret ray initiations in the first 4 months of this 14-month cycle in the 4th secret ray that started September 4th, 1990. First month, September 4th through October 3rd, 6:30 line under Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava's wisdom, which was given to me by El Morya, is the wisdom of resolution and world transmutation. That is the great gift he brings to us of our causal body. And that wisdom of resolution and world transmutation is the antidote for the poison of world chaos created by the poisons delivered by the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. In other words, world karma. Padmasambhava's mantra, Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Would like you to know that we stand corrected in the pronunciation of Padma. When the mantra is Kuan Yin's, it is Padme. When it is Padma's, it is Padma, a variation in pronunciation. So the actual correct pronunciation of Padmasambhava's mantra is Padma Siddhi Hum. And when you say Om Padme Hum, you are giving the mantra of Kuan Yin. Let's try this one, the Padma one, together. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Padmasambhava is the 7th ray Buddha. He is revered as the founder of Tibetan Buddhism. His name means literally lotus-born one, and he is known as Guru Rinpoche, precious guru or precious teacher, or Labpan Rinpoche, precious master. Padmasambhava brought an age of great enlightenment to Tibet, and the ascended master Padmasambhava placed upon me the mantle of guru and gave me the title of Guru Ma. October 4th through November 3rd, 1990, the 7:30-1:30 axis, Vairochana, all-pervading wisdom of the Dharma Dhatu, or Dharmakaya, poison, ignorance, mantra, Om Vairochana Om, mudra, teaching or setting in motion the wheel of the law. The third month, November 4th to December 3rd, 8:30, 2:30 axis. Akshobhya, mirror-like wisdom. The poison is anger and hate creation. Mantra Om Akshobhya Hum, and the earth-touching mudra. Now we are in the fourth month, December 4th through January 3rd. In this month, we will be concentrating on the 9:30, 3:30 axis under Ratna Sambhava. Wisdom of equality, the poison, spiritual, intellectual, and human pride. The mantra Om Ratna Sambhava Tram, mudra, giving or charity. Now as we go through these lines, they are exactly as you see them, and I've given you the points for the Buddhas. So the fifth month is Amitabha, the sixth Amoga Siddhi. The seventh, we come to the 12:30 line, Vajra Sattva. Vajra Sattva's wisdom is the wisdom of the diamond will of God. This was given to me by Almoria because we do not find it anywhere in Buddhist texts. Vajra Sattva's wisdom is the wisdom of the diamond will of God. Vajra means diamond. The poisons are non-will and non-being. The desire not to will and not to be. It's a very dangerous poison, and we need Vajra Sattva to overcome this. The elements of the unconscious, you could call it the force of the anti-will and the anti-being. Then the definition of this is fear, doubt, and non-belief in God, the great Guru. And his mantra is Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Vajrasattva is a divine being in Buddhism, called a Buddha by some and a Bodhisattva by others, whose name has been variously translated as diamond being, diamond nature, the indestructible minded one, the adamantine. I would like to point out that the 5 Dhyani Buddhas are cosmic beings, as is Vajrasattva, and that Almoria has told us that because we have called upon them so diligently for so many years, that they have come closer to earth than they have ever been. And so it is a great dispensation to have the 5 Dhyani Buddhas accessible to us through their seed syllable, through their mantra, and through this understanding of their cycles. The Encyclopedia of Eastern Philosophy and Religion gives the following summary of the Buddhist teaching on Vajrasattva. Vajrasattva represents in Vajrayana Buddhism the principle of purity and purification. Vajrasattva embodies the capacity to eliminate spiritual impurities of all kinds, particularly neglected commitments towards one's teacher and one's own spiritual development. Neglected commitments. You can see how we are being schooled in the 5 secret rays. He unifies all the 5 Buddha families within himself in the same way that the white color of his body in iconography unifies all the 5 colors. With his right hand he holds the dorje of Vajra to his heart, which signifies his indestructible essence. I believe that this is a dorje. His left hand holding a bell rests on his hip. This is an expression of his compassion. The 100-syllable mantra associated with him is used in all schools of Tibetan Buddhism for purification of the mind. The 8th month, April 4 to May 3rd, is the 1:30, 7:30 axis of Vairochana. 9th month, May 4th to June 3rd, is the 2:30, 8:30 axis. 10th month, June 4th to July 3rd, 91, Ratna Sambhava, July 4th to August 3rd, Amitabha. August 4th to September 3rd, 1991, Amoga City, the 12th month. The 13th month, September 4th through October 3rd, brings us to the 6:30, 12:30 axis. The Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin. Her wisdom is the wisdom of mercy. The poison that her mercy, her wisdom of mercy antidotes, is the unmerciful heart. And her mantra is Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin is positioned on the 6:30 line to assist us in the transition into the secret rays. In Buddhist tradition, Kuan Yin is the Chinese equivalent in feminine form of the masculine god of mercy and compassion, Avalokiteshvara, who was worshipped in India and Tibet before the introduction of Mahayana Buddhism into China in the 5th century. That is why we call her the Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin. She is the androgynous being of the one, masculine and feminine manifestation of the mercy and compassion of God. The 14th month, October 4th through November 3rd. The 12:30, 6:30 axis. We list this under all three since it combines Padma Sambhava on the 6:30, Vajrasattva on the 12:30, and Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin on the 6:30. As we see number 14 on the 6 o'clock line and 13 on the 12. We see Vajrasattva on the 12:30, Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin on the 6:30, where Padma Sambhava began. As you know, we have diligently given the mantras of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas since Serapis Bey's instruction to us in July of 1989 at the beginning of our decree sessions. Now you know why we list them as we do and why we give the mantras. I trust you visualize yourself standing on those lines of the clock and saying them with the Master. On July 5th, 1990, Ratma Sambhava delivered the first dictation we have ever received from one of the Dhyani Buddhas. He spoke of the results of our calls to the Dhyani Buddhas. He said, "May you know this, that by your love and your calls we have come closer to earth than in many thousands of years. Because you have called upon us and loved us and sought the power of our wisdoms to overcome the poisons 5, we send forth on the secret rays our electronic presence whenever you can manifest and sustain the magnet of love and joy that makes possible your receptivity to our presence." You can see a ray of light coming from the great central sun right toward you when you give a mantra, and at the end of that ray, there is seated or standing the Dhyani Buddha whose mantra you have given. This is how I visualize what he says is happening. Thus know the sweetness of Gautama and remember that ours is a ruby ray action. Ours is the baptism by the sacred fire of the ruby ray. And within the ruby ray sealed are 5 secret rays. The violet flame is the key to the heart of the Dhyani Buddhas, for upon that violet flame, as you make the transition from the 7th ray, you do enter the secret rays and all of their power. Unless you are greased with violet flame, you cannot pass through this passage. That is another very key reason why the violet flame is so important. On July 4th, 1988, Saint Germain explained how important it is to give our mantras to Kuan Yin to invoke the intercession of the Dhyani Buddhas. He said, all of the mantras of Kuan Yin, as you know, go back to the heart of the Amitabha Buddha. But beloved, all of the Dhyani Buddhas, as cosmic principles and forces and presences, have told me to tell you this night that they also do vow to be the ones to answer your call as you recite the mantras of Kuan Yin. So the 5 Dhyani Buddhas are telling us that if we give a single mantra of Kuan Yin, they will answer that call with her and through her. Thus not 1 but 5 Buddhas shall be to you the deliverers to your hearts and chakras of the violet flame through the blessed electronic presence of Kuan Yin around you. That action means, beloved, that there can be a tremendous acceleration of your mastery of the secret rays, of your development of your soul faculties, and your preparation for the days ahead. I cannot even emphasize to you, beloved, how necessary this is for our chelas. It is an area of neglect. As you know, the poisons and wisdoms of the Dhyani Buddhas are outlined in the sacred ritual for transport and holy work in ashram notes, pages 50 to 51, and in the ritual booklet, 43 to 44. I would like to give you a summary now of the poisons and the wisdoms. We have just said them, but I want to give them to you again. The first, Padmasambhava, wisdom of resolution and world transmutation. This antidotes world chaos created by the poisons delivered by the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Vajrasattva, wisdom of the diamond will of God, antidotes the poison of non-will and non-being, fear, doubt, and non-belief in God, the great Guru. Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin, the wisdom of mercy antidotes the unmerciful heart. Vairoshana, the all-pervading wisdom of the Dharmadhatu, or the Dharmakaya, antidotes the poison of ignorance. Akshobhya, mirror-like wisdom, antidotes the poison of anger, hate, and hate creation. Ratnasambhava, the wisdom of equality, antidotes spiritual, intellectual, and human pride. Amitabha, discriminating wisdom. That's where we are. That's the cycle we're in. Amitabha, 1030 line, we must have discrimination. Keepers of the flame, do not be taken in by anyone or anything. Discriminating wisdom is needed to overcome the poisons of the passions, all cravings, covetousness, greed, and lust. When we have unbridled passion, cravings, covetousness, greed, lust, any type of addiction where we are wanting or craving or indulging in something without control, and we want it more than we want our God victory and all of our God qualities, then we lose our faculty of discrimination. We can't tell right from wrong. We can't read people who are charlatans. We fall for those people who come along selling their latest bag of wares because they want your money and convince you that you need what they've got to sell when your money is what you should be hanging on to. Discriminating wisdom is the need of the hour. Sometimes I would like to tell you where I see you in a state of non-discrimination. El Morya tells me you must learn your lessons. And if you don't ask, then there is no point in me telling you because I have not been invited. So this is a great key in this hour. Let us get it. Amoga Siddhi, all accomplishing wisdom or wisdom of perfected action overcomes envy and jealousy. Why? Because when you have all accomplishing wisdom and the wisdom of perfected action, you have no one or nothing to be envious or jealous of because you have the mastery to get it for yourself. We can give all of the mantras together now, starting with Padmasambhava. Om Aham Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Om Om Aham Vajra Siddhi Hum. Om Vairoshana Om. Om Vairoshana Om. Om Vairoshana Om. Om Akshobhya Hum. Om Akshobhya Hum. Om Akshobhya Hum. Om Ratna Sambhava Tram. Om Ratna Sambhava Tram. Om Ratna Sambhava Tram. Om Amitabha Hri. Om Amitabha Hri. Om Amitabha Hri. Om Amoga Siddhi Ha. Om Amoga Siddhi Ha. Om Amoga Siddhi Ha. Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Thank you, beloved ones. This completes my overview of these cycles, which allows us to receive the dictation of Serapis Bey. I'm very happy to have been able to deliver this to you. I'm very, very grateful to you for staying to receive it. And I hope that someone in graphic arts will take it upon himself to create all of these clocks that I have begun with my scribble here. And we will have the charts and be able to use them. That would be a great gift to the Dhyani Buddhas in this hour, and a great gift to ourselves. We can put them in our notebooks, see exactly where we are each day. So I'm very happy with this chart, with this walk with God for this dispensation. And as I was saying, we have tied into cycles that have been ongoing forever. And as we are successful in this, so others may come after us and walk in our footprints and find the strength to also pass the tests of the Piscean and Aquarian crosses. I want to point out that Serapis Bey says that since we were not able to lock in to the cross, to the secret ray band on September 4th when it began, he says that we are going to have to pass the initiations of all 14 stations and 14 months in the 10 months that we have left of this cycle. So welcome the challenge and be alert to it. Keep up your calls and have a joyous time balancing all of your karma on the 10:30 line of the clock. God bless you forever. I love you and I'm grateful for your devotion. Thank you. Beloved mighty I Am Presence, we seal our hearts and we ask to be sealed in the heart of Lord Maitreya, Lord Jesus, Lord Gautama, Lord Sanat Kumar, the Ruby Ray Masters. We call to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, Om Vairoshana Akshobhya Ratna Sambhava Amitabha Amoga Siddhi, Vajra Sattva Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin, beloved Padma Sambhava. We call to your mighty hearts of light for our absolute God victory. We call for alertness and astuteness. We call for the clearing of our desire bodies, that we might enter into the 5 great wisdoms for the antidoting, not only of the poisons that have invaded and infested our own 4 lower bodies, but for the antidoting of those poisons as they have entered into the hearts of the children of the light and the children of God upon earth. O God, we are grateful for this opportunity. Keep us vigilant. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Divine Mother. Amen. I would like to reiterate one thing to you. I believe that this is a teaching made simple, and I believe if we have it organized and we have these charts on paper and we can look at them and have a time of day when we do look at them and we do make even quick, brief calls on these things, and we have the lists of all the qualities and the poisons, the Dhyani Buddhas, the wisdoms, and all these things, that this is not an impossible task to do. We do need those materials in our hands and in our notebooks. And that way we will find that in a given 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or the time it takes us to give Mother Mary's Rosary, we can pinpoint the cycles and the charts of our day and make the calls for our victory and for the binding of that substance, that aspect of the dweller, and so forth. I want you to go out of here feeling that you've got the dragon by the tail, and you can now make the calls and be successful in what has seemed to be a very complex teaching on the cosmic clock. For this I'm grateful, the great simplification of the complexity that God gives us in our beloved Church, universal and triumphant.
Beloved mighty I am presence from the heart of God in the great central sun. Our Father, Mother God, we bow before thy living flame, the great gift of thy heart to us here below, who yet travail in these veils of time and space. O God, this the greatest gift of all, thy living presence with us, the unfed flame upon this altar, and the holy light that ignites each heart. O thou Buddha Gautama, thou who dost keep the flame of life for us each one. Our hearts and thoughts and prayers and hopes are with the entire spirit of the Great White Brotherhood this night, as we keep the flame for the victory of all souls of light in this cosmos. We count our blessings, O God. We come to this altar with petitions for forgiveness, that we might have the record cleared by violet flame invoked to enter the new year with a clean slate, in so far as the great law will allow. Therefore, O Lords of Karma, prepare us in this hour, through these our confessions, to enter in to that moment when we may petition you for dispensations for the coming year and throughout this decade. O God, we are grateful for all mercy, all grace extended to us, and every gift. But most of all in this hour, O God, we are simply profoundly and humbly grateful for the mighty I Am presence with us. Thou who hast been with us from the beginning, be with us, Lord, unto the ending. We decree it, and we accept it done this hour in full power, in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Divine Mother. Amen. As this is the feast day of Thomas à Becket, let us sing to the diamond heart of our beloved El Morya, who has endured unto the victory and endures with us unto our victory. number 202. Please make your calls to El Moria. Hail, most holy seraphim of God. Hail, ye witnesses unto the truth, even the cosmic truth. I am indeed Serapis Soleil. I am the one come to call you to the moment of your ascension. Thus the fire of ascension's flame is present, and you may project yourself to the moment when that ascension flame shall envelop your form, and your soul, already fused to the living Christ, shall enter the glory of the flame that truly is the light of the Divine Mother. Thus, out of the Shakti of the living Word, thou didst descend in the beginning, and unto the Shakti of the living Word thou shalt ascend in the ending. This is the prophecy of the life everlasting unto all who can receive it, and who would drink of the cup of everlasting life. As no man or woman can see God and live any longer as mortal man or mortal woman, so if you ask a seraphim to give you to drink of the elixir of life, remember there is no turning back to the former state or estate. Therefore the cup is withheld until you, by striving, shall enter into the fusion with your holy Christ self. Prepare for the Lord's day. The Lord's day is the day of the judgment of all that has chosen that which is unreal. Prepare for the Lord's day by choosing in this hour the reality of your I Am presence. I come then, as seraphim gather here, in almost numberless numbers. I have called my seraphim from out the center of God, from the rings of light of the central sun, led by Justinius, they march, and they come for the protection of all servants of God upon earth. You may be surprised to discover the devout and profoundly holy ones who are not Christian or Jew in this life, but Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist, Parsi, Zoroastrian. Whatever their calling, whatever their tie, beloved, there are holy ones of God in all communities of the religious. Therefore know that seraphim are without religious discrimination, and they come to protect hearts of light who have already established by their daily devotions a cord of light reaching up into the infinite one. The engines of war are sounding. The rhetoric of war is spoken daily, and the desire for war, not peace, is lodged in the hearts of many. Therefore, let that which men have invoked be manifest as their decree, for the law is the law. And if the evolutions of the earth will continue to allow the fallen angels to dictate the terms of war and peace, then I say, even the seraphim should shield their eyes from the holocausts that will continue to ensue. Ye who are then counted among children of God, and sons and daughters of God, and even angel servants come to earth to minister. I, Serapis, say to you that your heart must be the focal point of a fire enfolding itself that can be used by the forces of the great central sun magnet to draw the people of light of this earth into a consummate union of oneness of purpose, ideal, motive, and vision by the all-seeing eye of God. This all-seeing eye does pierce through in this, the fourth secret ray cycle of the 14-month cycles. By the heart of Amitabha, so the all-seeing eye of God does penetrate. You may understand then what a great boon is upon you, beloved, that you may have the opportunity for that two-eyed vision to become one. Surely this is the cycle of preparing the light of the sacred fire, preparing the chakras for the raising up of the mother light. Many shall perish for want of vision. I trust none of you shall be counted among that many. The day will come when every man and woman and child must see for himself, must pierce the chaos and the old night revisited upon earth. May you be in the holy place when you require that vision. May you have the discriminating wisdom of the beloved Amitabha, and may the discriminating heart of your holy Christ self separate the tares from the wheat of consciousness, and may that wisdom itself utterly consume by the passion of the Lord Amitabha in you all passions of the flesh, of the desires, of the mind, and the memory. Let there be then the setting aside, let there be the use of Archangel Michael's sword. Cut from yourself the ties to the underworld, lest you be sucked into it by a force beyond your own. Simply take the sword, use it as demonstrated by the messenger, and declare yourself free from these poles from beneath. Plunge that sword into the demons, into the grotesque forms that linger at the partial openings of the mouths of the bottomless pit in this state and elsewhere upon the planet. Be free from those ties, beloved, for your victory is very close, yet by your own measurement at times very far. Simply by your neglect to be it. I have listened well to the study of the psychology of Zalem concerning reincarnation and karma. Study this well, beloved, for some of you, ere you are called to higher octaves, will not have more than this opportunity that you take day by day for resolution. The sands in the hourglass fall for all, yet no man does know in the outer, nor woman, how many grains are above, how many below. Seek resolution, so that when you come to our retreat, you will not need to remain 200 years in the lower etheric octave, dealing with those things that can be accomplished by the fiat of your spoken word and your allegiance to the word you have sounded. Believe that your fiat does invoke the full power of the Godhead and accept your freedom, beloved. I come to you late in the cycle, but not too late. I have not spoken at the turning of this cycle on September 4th, for should I have spoken, beloved, you would have locked into your four lower bodies this fourth secret ray. At that hour you were still as shorn lambs, and beloved, you were not prepared to receive such an intense fire as is the fourth secret ray, since its wisdom is the antithesis of the passions and the misuse of the sacred fire, and since you have not diligently sought for the binding of the dweller that represents all of those momentums, it was considered by the great cosmic council who has sent me this night to forestall the locking in of that secret ray into this body and community. The hour has come then, beloved, that if this secret ray cycle is to bear fruit of victory and God mastery for some among this planetary body, there must then be the locking in. Hence we have called for your petitions for forgiveness, and this is a conference for inner resolution. Blessed ones, this cycle is in the planetary body. It will work its work, but some must anchor the pillar of fire that it represents. Therefore I ask you to pursue the highest calling of the fourth ray under my guidance, tutelage, and sponsorship. I offer you sponsorship guardedly, yet I do so out of profound compassion for your state. I desire to assist you in the raising up of ascension's flame, and I desire to see you not crumble beneath the weight of this secret ray planetary initiation. Ere these 14 months have passed, beloved, you will see events outplayed in the Middle East and elsewhere in the world, and you will understand how turmoil does indeed ensue when this fourth ray band is in play. Therefore, I ask that you signal our seraphim in this hour if you desire the true locking into your chakras of this ray. I ask you not to fear or falter, yet to also be realistic. You who know you are faithful, you who know that you take a recourse in God, and that you stand on the battle line continually in this court and in your homes, accept with trust and confidence that you can bear this ray, and in so signaling that you would receive it, I shall give you then the special protection of my mantle. Yet my mantle cannot protect you from an out of alignment state, nor can it protect you from the karma that you should make. My mantle will give you the strength to keep your vows and to move on. I will tell you that locking in to this fourth secret ray band will be a great assist in your overcoming of all adversaries of this community and church, messenger and chelas. It is necessary for the victory. I will also tell you that to ride this ray at its crest in this hour and to continue with all diligence will allow you to arrive at a certain level of the passing of initiations that will enable you to increase your attainment and ability to draw forth supply and all that you need to go on in the fulfillment of your mission. Thus it is a ray for which there is no substitute, a cycle for which you will wait again, another 14 cycles. Therefore understand, beloved, that coming into this ray in this hour is expedient if you are prepared for the challenge. I say it can be done. I have confidence that you can do it, but you must show forth the will, the discriminating wisdom, and the love to do so. I pray, therefore, that my warning to you will not make you so timid that you will not even come forward to accept this challenge. A certain karma is upon the nation and the nations in this hour. I pause to contemplate it, and also to contemplate what this world would be like without our chelas and keepers of the flame. Your decrees were never more necessary to hold the balance for those who yet need to discover this path, and to do so quickly. Keepers of the flame who hear my words, know that your decrees are vital for your own victory and that of the planet. Your observation of the cycles of the 14 months is essential also. I ask you now to stand and be counted who shall receive the locking in of the fourth secret ray band for the fulfillment of his mission, her mission, and that of this church. Holy Justinius, receive your troops. These I present to you in the persons of our beloved keepers of the flame. They come to receive you. They stand in honor of your seraphim, legions of light. They do not rush in as fools where angels fear to tread, but they take their stand with a realistic appraisal of Earth's conditions and the forces of darkness. Therefore, I, Serapis, command you, Justinius, and all hosts of the spirit-matter cosmos, to guard all who do stand, knowing full well the challenges that lie before them. Beloved Seraphim, place now your armor upon them, each one, from head to toe. Chelas of Serapis Bay, I call you. Receive then this armor, and see yourselves being dressed by loving servants of the Most High God, seraphim who bow to the light within you, and will magnify that light by your Lord, your mighty I Am presence. May you pause each day and never be without the visualization when you invoke your tube of light, to see then your seraphim attendant dressing you again from head to toe in armor of light that will deflect from you all harm directed against the holy office you have chosen, which is to embody the fourth secret ray. I ask you to visualize this armor for your children and for all other keepers of the flame who will similarly take their stand to receive the locking in of this fourth secret ray. Do not call it forth or visualize it for any other, for this is unto those who are understanding of the necessity to move forward with the planetary initiations. Any and all keepers of the flame in good standing who in the future may hear this dictation may also stand to receive that ray and to receive the armor for their stand. I suggest that those who will may enter in to a 40-day period of celibacy, but only by free will. I desire to assist you in the path of the raising up of the mother flame. You may pursue Hatha Yoga or other exercises for the balancing of the energies in the four lower bodies. Dwalkul's breathing exercise and other meditations which I may choose to release to you. Keep the flame for the light bearers, gathered and gathering in the Middle East and elsewhere upon earth. Beloved, the fourth ray, as the white sphere of the causal body, is very close to the 5 secret rays. May you extol its virtues and embody them. And may you remember and call for the clearing of the memory of all keepers of the flame who have heard me. This is a very special moment, beloved. Now then, you are fully dressed in your armor, and thus has come the moment of the locking in of the 4th secret ray to you and all others who at inner levels in etheric retreats have heard me, beloved, for they also make their choice. Some shall return to the physical bodies which they vacated in this night's soul travel for work with our brotherhood, and others are there between embodiments. Thus there is in fact a mighty force of light bearers upon earth and devotees from all walks of life who now receive this locking in. And as there is a locking in, beloved, there is, as it were, on the astral plane, a trembling of the earth and an earthquake, for the adjustment is great for those in embodiment to carry this light. I trust you will give yourselves the remainder of this conference to adjust to its vibration, to use violet flame and calls to the 4th ray Elohim, purity and Astrea, for the rebalancing of your systems. Indeed, beloved, this is a moment of great comfort to the Mahachohan, to Gautama Buddha and Sanat Kumara. As you have labored long, beloved, in this lifetime, and borne much, we have labored eons with the evolutions of earth. And though the harvest may seem small by percentages of the total population, we count the harvest of those who take their stand for the mother flame in this hour to be considerable, for we count it from among those who have the qualifications to begin with. This, of course, is a far less percentage than the total population. Thus, our gratitude is profound. We are gratified to know that in such an hour of darkness, so many, in so many different areas, moving through the cities, moving about in the earth, not in retreats, but fully dealing with the challenges of world karma daily, have yet preserved a spiritual path and calling, and are fiercely dedicated in that which God has led them to in this life. Of course, we desire to see them have the full cup of the violet flame and the initiations of the ascension. Therefore, we do look forward to Summit University, and we ask you to take advantage of the messenger's invitation to be present on Sundays for special training in ministerial service, outreach, and in helping brothers and sisters wherever you find them. Now, beloved, there is a sealing of your chakras and a sealing of the rays. Guard the heart, most precious. I, Serapis, place spheres of light around your heart for increased protection in all the days ahead. May you consider yourselves holy. May you fill the role of holiness. May you see that across the helmet of the seraphim that you wear, the inscription, Holiness unto the Lord. May you carry a flame of holiness. Let your conversation be yea, yea, and nay, nay, affirming God, and not even allowing the mouth to be opened lest the lesser vibrations pass through. When you are present with seraphim, beloved, you are in the presence of holiness. Each one of you receives then the presence of a mighty seraphim with you unto the hour of your fulfillment of this life, unless you somehow violate that presence and that tie by word or thought or action. These seraphim have rejoiced at this assignment, beloved, and they come to you with great devotion, knowing you personally and knowing you well. Remember, one of the gifts that the seraphim have is to place their electronic presence over you, to lock in to your entire four lower bodies, and to bring about a gentle healing and spiral of wholeness. The mending of the tears in the garment, the weaving and the reweaving of the deathless solar body. May you rejoice at such sponsorship, and may there be a true change in your attitude and outlook, in what you allow to occupy your mind and your time, your space and your feeling world. We desire you to rise not a single notch, but 3 feet this night. Visualize it, beloved, and may it be so. We desire you up the spiral staircase, far out of reach of the denizens of the lower darkness. This is my mission in coming, beloved. My gratitude to all keepers of the flame who have made possible this dictation at all. Better late than never. O winds of God and of the Holy Spirit, take dominion in the earth this night. I, Serapis Sole, have spoken, and my fiat shall be fulfilled.
Let us sing the song of the Ascension. Aloha Oi.
$227.
Saint Germain's message to you is that he desires you to absorb this light and adjust in your four lower bodies to it. He will speak to you tomorrow afternoon with Raphael and Mother Mary. He desires you also to engage in violet flame decrees of forgiveness and transmutation. And so these letters will also be burned tomorrow, after which we will have our Holy Communion. These are confession letters, not to be read by anyone. Therefore, if you wish counsel in this octave, you should apply to a minister or a psychologist in our community. We ask you to consider profoundly these confessions and letters, for as you speak to God in the secret chamber of your heart, or write to God and your letter is burned, so you are notifying the karmic board and the 24 elders, not only the confessions of sin, but your desire for penance and to regain perhaps a lost status. Search your soul and ask your Holy Christ self what you ought to confess and what you ought to ask for forgiveness for. This concluding ritual of confession and taking communion will prepare us to enter in to the activities of New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and the dictations. Therefore, at this time, as we continue to absorb this light, let us have our love offering for the evening.
Sanctus, Sanctus,
In the name of the light of God that never fails, I call forth the blessing of beloved Serapis Bey upon this love offering. I call for the blessing of all hearts who are open to God in the great central sun. And I call for intense violet flame from my heart and the heart of all servants of the seventh ray, to increase and intensify the great mercy of God in each heart, who is the instrument of God's gift to us. May it be multiplied, O God, in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Divine Mother. I seal this service with the sign of the heart, the head, and the hand. And I call forth the cosmic cross of white fire. I send seraphim of God, the power of Justinius, to guard and keep you and all light bearers who have received this initiation. Beloved Serapis Bey, because you have tarried with planet Earth and not elected to go on to octaves of light, we yet have opportunity for the ascension in this life. We are grateful to you, and we bow before your light in this hour as the Hierophant of Luxor and the great cosmic being that thou art. We salute all ascended masters of Luxor, including our beloved Clara Louise and Amen Bey. To all friends of light ascending in this hour,